This is Whyse of the Sixth Element, where hip hop and sociology collage. You know what I'm saying? Silence, like when he wakes up.
Resurrected from a pit of poetic souls with the message looking for my
Use that in
purpose.
their cipher.
Opinion of what I stand for really doesn't matter.
Make moves, not
Start off with Tiff.
A
A-Game is like the big homie of the city. Just like mentors in the sense.
I started off as a lost
let us do what
chick.
we're supposed to do.
Another brother like you.
To say that, to come up with a point.
That's why it's very important. Peace, y'all. This is Whyse of the Sixth Element, where hip hop and sociology collides. You know what I mean? I'm here with my brother, bro God.
What's going on?
You know what I'm saying? What's going on, y'all? Introduce yourself, bro.
Bradley Sufar.
Yeah, let them know who you are, man.
Brockton, Massachusetts. This is my brother right here. Thank you for allowing us to be able to interview a king today. You know
I'm about to add him right now.
Oh, man.
And we go start it off right, man.
Sixth Element where hip hop and sociology collides.
Boom. Brother Dr. Umar Johnson, how you doing today, brother?
Peace and love, family. How are you?
Man, I'm alive and hit and blessed, man. I'm honored to be in your presence once again. You know what I'm saying? This is Bradley, you know what I mean, otherwise known as Brad Heru. And my name is Kenzie. I go by Whyse of the Sixth Element where hip hop and sociology collide. So I thank you for joining us today. We interviewed you back in 2016. And I believe that was the last time you came to Boston, right?
Yes, it was. Myself and Dr. Claude Anderson.
Yeah. So, we were able to chop it up. I don't know if you remember, but, I just want you to know that left a lasting impact on this. Some of the messages that you bestowed upon us, right?
Appreciate it.
One of them, we could just get straight into it, right? Before we do, how about you speak about what you're going to be doing in Boston this weekend?
Yes, sir. I'll be coming back to Boston, as you mentioned, for the first time in 5, almost 6 years now, since 2016, when we were at the Strand Theater. And the purpose of my return is twofold. Number one, it will be a book release on Friday night at the church at 18 Whittier Street there, the Good Shepherd Church. We'll be doing a book release Friday, April the 9th, from 2 p.m. until 8 p.m. And this is the new book, Black Parent Advocate, The Art of War, dealing with America's public and charter schools. So I want to give the parents in Boston and the entire New England region an opportunity to get their hands on this book. This book picks up where the last book left off, Psychoacademic Holocaust. This book is a reference guide. So when parents have issues with the school, they can go right to the issue that they're having. If the school wants them to evaluate their child for ADHD, there's a section on that. How should you respond? If the school wants them evaluated for an intellectual disability and the parent doesn't agree with that, you can go right to the section and get the answer. Right. We also, so the first part of the book is correspondence. And so it deals with the major issues that I've seen Black parents encounter over the past 20 years of being a certified school psychologist, that many of them have not been equipped to deal with. So I wanted to give them a quick reference guide that they can use to help them respond to the requests from the school. And the second part of the book is documentation. So in the second part of the book, we teach parents how to read, understand, and evaluate the psychological evaluation report, how to read, understand, and evaluate the individual education program, how to read, understand, and evaluate the behavior plan or the pre-referral academic intervention plan. So part 2 allows the parent to put their report on the table, open up to the section in this book that deals with the evaluation, and they can literally go section for section and interpret the report that the school is giving them. So I'm very proud about this book. Took me 3 years to do it, and it's finally here. So that's Friday. Saturday is going to be the Black Parent Bootcamp. And the Black Parent Bootcamp is a Know Your School Rights bootcamp. And it's 12 hours long. From 8 a.m. until 8 p.m., we go straight through. And we go through everything that I believe a parent needs to know to be an effective advocate for their child. So we basically cover almost everything in here. and so much more that's not in here. So we go through the disabilities one by one. We go through parents' rights one by one. We go through the evaluation process step by step, the IEP step by step, letter writing step by step, behavior management step by step. So some people have asked the question, if I get the book, do I still need to go to the training on Saturday? And my answer to that is absolutely yes. And why? Because the training is going to include the book, but it's not going to be limited to the book. And even if you get this book, there's a lot of questions you may still have that the training will answer. So to be in the best position to advocate for your child, you want to get the book Friday and you want to come back Saturday for the training.
That's powerful, brother, man. Like I remember like when I first got hip to your work, you know, like 2013, man, I was just like binge watching. And there was like a lot of material that I've never come across before in regards to the role of the Black parent in the education system, you know, and how to protect your child from like the medical apartheid that's happening, that they're not even aware that they're participating in by saying that their child has like ADHD or, you know, a learning disability. So like, I definitely wanted to like, just like ask a follow-up question on, you know, the book. Because like, I believe, in my opinion, it's probably took more than 3 years for you, because like literally as you broke down the different sections, it brings me to lectures that I once like watched on YouTube University, you know? So like, you know, like what is the, like, what is your thoughts on like the Boston's education system, you know, and in the grand scheme of like, you know, just the entire history, you know, the busing crisis, you know, a program, what's the name of the program, where like students would leave the hood and go to like suburban schools.
Job Corps?
No. Okay, yeah, so someone will follow up with that, but like, there are different programs that are in place in the spirit of integration. So like, I wanted to get your thoughts on that, man. Dr.
I would argue that the school desegregation efforts in Boston, Massachusetts, back in the late 60s, early 70s, because Boston was probably one of the most aggressive resistance movements by white folk to not accept Black children. And of course, in Boston, that would have predominantly been the white Irish community that kept the Black children out of the schools. I think that the violence and the resistance and the aggression with which the Boston white community handled school desegregation in the late 60s and 70s helped give birth to federal special education law. In other words, special ed may have never been created at all, and it definitely would not have been created in 75 had there not been the Boston Against Busing movement. And although Boston was probably one of the more pronounced cases of resistance against school desegregation, it happened all over America. And so the United States government had to come up with a solution, not because they cared about Black children, but these white parents were making the government look real bad and real hypocritical, because you're over in Vietnam trying to make the world safe for democracy, and you like going around telling everybody else how to treat people in their countries. And here you won't even let Black kids sit next to white kids in this classroom. So the resistance against the school desegregation was undermining America's international image. And it was affecting America's ability to play police officer, moral police for the world. And so special ed being created in 75, that's when we get our first federal special ed law, Public Law 94-142, Education for All Handicapped Children Act. That was the re-segregation law. And the reason I call special education the re-segregation law is because it allowed Boston public schools and every other public school district to re-segregate the children. Only this time they would not be segregated outside of the school. they would be segregated inside of the school. In
Right.
other words, let them in the front door. Let them in the front door so we don't look back.
Right.
After you let them in the front door, you can evaluate them, call them retarded, call them emotionally disturbed, call them reading disabled, call them math disabled, call them autistic, call them ADHD, call them whatever you want, but let them in the front door. After they get in the front door, you evaluate and you label them. You can now separate them into a different classroom. Just make sure you never say you did it because they're Black. Blame it on the disability, not on the race. And so that's what they do now. We know that the Black boys are in there because they're Black. We know that. But that's not the justification, because that's illegal now as a result of the Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court decision of 54. So today, they'll tell you Raheem is in a special class because he can't sit still. He got ADHD. Or Shanique was in a special class because she got an attitude problem. She got conduct disorder. Or little Mike might got a reading problem. And little Shanice got a math problem. And that one is retarded. And you know, most of the time they have nothing at all.
Right.
The only disability they had was being Black.
Right.
You see,
And there's
but the parents
that come after that too.
Yes.
Like the
and so the
medication.
parents don't know how to fight back. And so that's why the Black Parent Bootcamp is so important, because for those 12 hours, I teach parents how to fight back legally, procedurally, effectively. And of course, because of COVID, we're limited. We can only allow 50 attendees inside of the Good Shepherd Church for the boot camp on Saturday. So as of last count, we had about 15 spots remaining out of the 50.
Took the question
So
right
make sure you let people know that if you plan to be there, you need to go to drumarjohnson.com and register, because once we hit 50, we can't let nobody else in, you know. And I'll be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
I've been disappointed by our parents, because through the years that I've been doing the Black Parent Bootcamp, the boot camp has not met with the same reception as my lectures have. The boot camp has not met with the same reception as my book signings have. So if I do a lecture, I'll get several hundred people in there, right? Sold out, standing in line. But when I do the boot camp, I'll be lucky if I get a couple dozen. So why are you so excited to come hear the lecture, but you don't want to learn how to protect your children?
Right.
Which is why I always say that although racism is the #1 problem of the Black child, the Black parent is the #1 co-conspirator, because not only are they miseducating our children, we don't know how to deal with it, and we don't even want to learn. I'm the only psychologist I know of. Maybe there's another one somewhere. I'm the only one I know of, Black or white, that teaches Black parents what they need to know to protect their children. I don't know of another one who does this. Okay. I don't know of any who teaches parents the way I teach them.
Yeah.
Okay. And so for me, I know that if they're not at my training, they're not at nobody's training. You know, and it's a shame, because my voicemail is filled up right now.
Yeah.
My voicemail is filled up right now. And guess who it's filled up with? Mostly Black parents with emergencies.
Yes.
Educational emergencies. And I'll tell you this, after Boston is over, somebody who should have been there will be calling me with another educational emergency, begging me to call them back as soon as I can. But you could have came and learned how to deal with this and every other problem you might encounter with your child, but you were too lazy and disinterested to do that, man. So why is my voicemail always filled up with educational emergencies if I'm traveling the country doing a boot camp to teach you how to deal with it? It's because we don't care until it smacks us in our face.
Yeah, please go ahead, brother.
Man,
that's
Dr. Umar?
Yes, sir.
I'm Bradley Sufra. Nice to meet you.
Pleased to meet you, brother.
We had a conversation not too long ago. It was 2016.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Conversation, you know, I before we even had that conversation, I got to say to you 100%. At 14, 15 years old, you were the individual that awakened me. I watched your videos on YouTube, and your videos on YouTube put me in the perspective to be conscious. And I went back to school and I started challenging my teachers. I challenged the institution. I even challenged the disciplinary system named the demerit system. that disproportionately discipline Black students for non-drug, non-violent, non-criminal offenses.
Yeah.
And my brother right here, he was our mentor at the time. And so you gotta understand that your words are very powerful and that you're reaching the people, you're reaching the youth. I had to say that to you right quick.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Moving
I
forward,
appreciate it.
Oh, of course. But I don't feel like people give you your flowers like that. I watch you all the time. People don't give you your flowers like that. You deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Moving forward though, right? I work in Brockton Public Schools.
Which is south of Boston.
South of Boston.
Okay.
And it's the city, if you want some context, it's the city where Rocky Marciano's from.
Oh, and your ancestor, Frederick Douglass, spoke in Brockton as well to abolitionists, and it's named Frederick Douglass Boulevard as well. Yep.
So when you come out here, I would like for you to come to Brockton so you can see the Frederick Douglass, what do you call it, the memorial that we have. We have a whole street named after him.
Oh, wow.
And there's buildings over there that we can buy and really create an institution as well.
Right.
So I'm saying? And so I wanted to get to talk to you and ask you a specific question, right? How can I, as a mentor working within Brockton Public Schools, engage the students in getting their parents involved with their education?
With the parents, I think one of the mistakes that we've made in the past and still make now is too often the parent organizers want to organize the parents through the school. That's a mistake. In other words, the Parent-Teacher Association. We should join it so we know what's going on. But that cannot be the main medium through which you organize parents, because the PTA is more of a spy organization to make sure they keep the parents in line. They're not trying to change anything. They just want to keep the parents docile and on their side. So what we have to do is organize parents in the street, outside the school, find out what the issues are in the school. And then we tell the principal, hey, we want to come and meet with you. You know, the parents got some issues. We want to talk, to you about some of these issues that the parents are having. So you want to organize outside the school and then bring the fight into the school, as opposed to organizing with the principal and, the teachers and come to the PTA meeting. It's a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest. It really is. Their job is to make it as easy as possible for the white teachers who teach. Our job is to make them as responsible as possible. So how can the people who are trying to make the job as easy as possible for the teachers, how can they have a relationship with the parents who are trying to make the teacher's job as responsible as possible? It's a conflict of interest. You can't serve two masters. And I think one of the reasons why we haven't seen more change is because that PTA, we keep trying to organize parents through the white power structure. That's what the PTA is. That's the white power structure. We should be organizing them through the black power structure, which is the community.
Which is seemingly non-existent so far in Brockton, but we're building it. Well, hopefully we'll get there soon. Thank you for that, Dr. Umar Johnson. And I actually wanted to double back to the boot camp because with the understanding that there's only 50 seats that's available, and there's only 15 that are filled up. So there's 35 left, right? Now
it's almost 35 filled.
Okay. Oh,
15
okay. 15 remaining. I see. So there's like a theme in some of the answers that you provided so far, and it reminds me of something that you said to us that really shook us at our core. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just my brother Bradley that was there when we spoke. We didn't get to speak face to face or virtually.
Okay.
It was audio. So in the room there were at least 3 other young kings who were there just listening to holding on to every single word that you were saying. And there was one that you said, the one statement that you said that this generation is the most psychologically devastated generation of Black people that we have ever bear witness to.
Absolutely.
And Bradley initially disagreed with you because as a young king, he's 20 years old, running for mayor in Brockton because he wants to be the change that he wants to see in the world. He just wasn't able to take that in. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you want to follow up to the question before you take it over, Dr. Umar.
Sure.
Dr. Umar, when you said those words at the time, right? I didn't have the life experience to truly understand where you were coming from. Right? you're looking at it from a perspective where you understand the 80s, you understand the 70s, you understand the 90s. And so the movements that took on at that time, they were really inspiring. These individuals put their money where their mouths were. They were really about the community. And so when I did the research from Malcolm to the Black Panther Party to the 5%, and just looking how we came all the way up into 2019, 2016, 2017, I realized something. Our generation, we utilize our intellect to support our ignorance. We utilize our intellect to reinforce our laziness. And this is as a person who's 23, who's trying to organize the community, who's trying to inspire them to be their best selves. So I went from in 2016 not agreeing with you to in 2021 agreeing with you, my brother. And it took me a long time to see it, but I finally see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's important, and I appreciate you for saying that. And it's also important that we understand that the diagnosis is not the prognosis, right? So if we diagnose the fact that our people are psychologically defeated at this point, that's the diagnosis. It's current, it's right now. But we're hoping that the prognosis can be that we can awaken the sleeping consciousness of the American African and motivate them towards future liberation activities. You understand? So the diagnosis is never the prognosis. In fact, I like to give the diagnosis so I can hope to shock the consciousness of the community to wake them up towards a better prognosis. You see, here's what happened. You had the coming together of two forces. You had the coming together of psychological helplessness. And let me tell you what that is. I believe Black people have been so beat up by white supremacy that a lot of us unconsciously have quit. We have quit pushing back. We have quit struggling. We have quit agitating. We have quit organizing. We won't admit it because our ego won't allow us to consciously admit that we have conceded victory to the oppressor. You understand? But if you look at our behavior, it is absolutely clear that we have conceded victory to the European. So we have accepted psychological defeat. It's like a boxer. You got 12 rounds. You've been getting your butt whipped for 11 rounds. You get up and come out in the 12th, not because you expect to win, not because you're trying to win, not because you're trying to fight, but your ego made you get out because the sit in that corner was too embarrassing. So I'm gonna look like I'm coming out here to fight. But you know what I'm really waiting on? I'm waiting on my opponent to knock me the hell out so I can get this over with. That is Black America with the white power structure. It looks like we still in the ring. It looked like we still boxing, but we not. We just going through the motions, waiting for that mega punch that's gonna knock us clearly out of the competition and make us a permanent underclass in American society. So you got this psychological helplessness, psychological defeat coming together with a social revolution, a technologically sophisticated social revolution known as social media coming together at the same time. So you have psychologically defeated adults and you have technologically addicted and distracted youth. So at a time when America is preparing to bury the African more than ever, our young people are totally distracted with useless ideas and useless movements. They on YouTube all day, Twitter all day, Facebook all day, Instagram all day. And then they've been sucked and recruited into movements that have nothing to do with them. They fighting for the immigrants, and they fighting for the Asians, and they fighting for the LBGTs, and they fighting for the transgender, but they're not fighting for the community. If you poll the average young person, and ask them what initiatives are they currently a part of, I'm willing to bet you that every initiative they give you, 9 out of 10 will be multicultural, and almost none of them will have a specific focus on empowering the Black community. We are totally distracted right now at the worst possible time.
Dr. Umar, it's like our people, we are literally socially constructed not to be pro-Black. And it's very annoying to me as a young person who's trying to put out this message, because the message is for you to love yourself, for you to understand that you are royalty, for you to understand that you have the power to do what the white man has done for himself. But that the reality of the situation is that any individual that comes off as pro-black, they've utilized Netflix shows to market a hotep as if that's a negative thing to be, when that's only a black individual that is embracing his culture. See, we are literally in a state right now in Black America, especially as a 23-year-old, where I believe that people rather support other races than support themselves, because they have been brainwashed to believe that supporting themselves is racist, but supporting everybody else is inclusive. So this whole notion of inclusiveness is what I believe that we got to find a cure for. So Dr. Umar, I ask you, how can we combat the marketing to our people that they need to be for everybody instead of being for self?
It's going to be difficult. And one of the reasons why it's going to be difficult is because Black religion plays a very decisive gatekeeping role for the American white power structure. All major Black religions teach integration, and they teach that self-sufficiency is a sin against God. Looking out for Black people first is a sin. You are not supposed to see color. You are only supposed to see people who are dedicated to Christ or dedicated to Muhammad. So the religion has confused our people into believing God does not want them to be African family first. God does not want them to be African people first. So when you go to church and you're being told that God don't care nothing about independent Black community, God don't care nothing about Black people doing for themselves. If you're told this and raised this way, when you come to the Black consciousness movement, you automatically experience a little bit of cognitive dissonance, because your mind is telling you, I need to be over here with the brothers who organize. But the church and the mosque is over here telling you later for that. Just come to church later for that. Just come to the masjid, which is why in 21st century America, Black church, one of the roles of the Black church is to keep revolutionary-minded Black youth out of the freedom struggle. The church's job is to keep you out of the freedom struggle, because there's a lot of young brothers and sisters in the church that we can use who care about the movement, but because of the brainwash and the mind control that religion has on them, they'll never come our way. So the Black church has been one of white supremacy's most effective supports. The Black church, Black people would not be in a condition they're in if it wasn't for the Black church, because the Black church has a way of massaging the mind of the Negro in such a way to make you think your present condition was a divine decree and is not the result of white supremacy or your own inactivity. You see, so the church will make you think that mass incarceration, miseducation, gentrification, police genocide, access to wealth, that has nothing to do with white supremacy. God set it up that way. And if God set it up that way, it's going to stay that way until God does away with it. So religion keeps you hoping for a better tomorrow without working for a better tomorrow. And that's why religion has always been a benefit to the white power structure. Black religion, if you look at our history, Black religion has benefited the white power structure more than Black people, because it keeps you hypnotized with divine intervention, and it keeps you hoping for a change without making that change with your own two hands. And it keeps you straitjacketed and handcuffed to multiculturalism. And here's the point. I don't have nothing against the Latinos. I ain't got nothing against the Asians. I ain't got nothing against the Jews, the Anglo-Saxons, the Mexicans, or anybody else. I ain't got nothing against them. I wish them well to whatever their cultural agendas are. But my focus, my attention, my loyalty, my commitment is to the liberation of African people. I am not interested in nobody else's liberation, because nobody else is interested in mine. And the problem with multiculturalism is it has Black people fighting other people's battles before they fought their own. And like, how do you have time to fight for them and you haven't fought for yourself? And on the flip side of that, no other culture, if you can name one, name one. Name me a culture right now in America that has ever sacrificed in a significant way for Black folks. And then name me another culture in this country who is willing to sacrifice right now. Who is willing to stand with the Black man and Black woman and fight against police genocide? Name me one group. You can't. Nobody's willing to stand with us against police genocide. So why are we standing with them for? They are all racist. They're all racist. Don't none of them like us, because when you come to America, one of the things you have to do is you have to co-sign America's treatment of Black folks. You have to co-sign it. You have to practice it, and you have to support that. So nobody's coming to America to struggle with Black folks. Are you kidding? Who gets on a plane and relocates to America from Europe or China or Asia so they can stand next to Black people? Hell no. They coming to America to replace Black people.
Dr. Umar, see, now you're talking about action. And so this is when we bring it to the fact that you're building a school.
Yes, sir.
Taking action. Let's talk about it. Let our viewers know where we are with it.
Yes, sir.
With the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, we have 2 beautiful schools in Wilmington, Delaware. We're focusing on renovating the Marcus Garvey School first. That's the smaller of the 2. The schools are right across the street from each other. They look right at each other. We're trying to get the Garvey School up first to show the community that we're serious. And then once we have the Garvey School and the Nat Turner Jean-Jacques Dessalines Gymnasium up and running, then we want to go ahead and start working on the Frederick Douglass building. Now, the Frederick Douglass building is the main building. It's the large one, modern gymnasium. We can do everything we want to do. Every conference, every workshop, every seminar, we can do everything we want in the Frederick Douglass High School. But in order to get there, you got to crawl before you walk. So we're trying to get the Garvey School done. And to be honest with you, fellas, if someone were to ask me, what is the biggest hindrance to getting the Garvey School renovated? Is it the money or is it the manpower? I would argue the manpower. And let me tell you what I mean by that. We have been ripped off by Black contractors who have overcharged us, and some who did not finish the work after we paid them. So we want to keep this all Black, right? We want to keep the money in the community. The people raise the money. We want to put the money back into our people. But to be honest with you, brother, it has not been a good experience these past 2 years. Almost everybody involved in the process till now has ripped us off. Nobody has come to the table yet with a concern for what we're trying to do, which is build a school for Black boys. None of the Black contractors have shown up caring about what we're trying to do. Nobody has cut us any slack on the money, the cost, or none of that, brother. You know, they've overcharging us. They're charging us excessive fee. Brother, working with our people has been difficult. And you can't go to the Europeans because they know who I am. And as a result of that, none of them will bid on the work. None of the white contractors will bid on the work because they don't want to help us realize this dream. So at this point, we're looking at contractors outside of Delaware. We're going to have to go outside of Delaware because dealing with trying to stay in state, Black or white, has not really helped us. So we're looking at brothers, you know, nearby who can come and make this happen. And really the issue is HVAC and plumbing. That's really the issue at this point. We got to get the HVAC unit switched out, which is not a big deal. We got to get the plumbing done, which is not a big deal. Like, these are straightforward things. But with people trying to charge you $300,000 just to switch out 2 units, you understand? Now y'all see why it's taken us 2 years. And then I think some of the Black contractors have been listening to the detractors who are saying things like, he's raised 2 million. We haven't ever crossed $1 million yet. You understand? And even if we did, half of that money went into purchasing the school. So you don't even have $1 million anymore. But I think some of the contractors are believing people when they say they've raised millions of dollars. No, we have not. And that might explain why they're telling me it's going to cost you $300,000 to switch out 2 units. 240. Exactly. It don't cost $300,000 to switch out no unit. That unit is 20,000. That unit might be about 60,000. So that's 80,000 for the materials. So if it's 80,000 for the materials and you charging me 250, help me understand this other $170,000 I'm paying. So they're trying to get rich off of this movement to help our children, and we don't have that money to pay. If we had it, we would pay it, get it done with. We don't have that money to pay. You know, and so that is, it's the manpower more than the money, brother, because if they came to us with the right numbers, respectable numbers, we could probably have been gotten this done.
You know, brother, like this might be a shot in the dark, but you know, I know now that you have you've expressed that, you know, this is what you're going through, and I like the vulnerability is everything, you know, the transparency is everything. So like, you know, you ask and you shall receive, like type vibe, right? So I know someone. I'll talk to you after about that. You know what I mean? I don't
No
know.
problem.
It'll be a shot in
No
the dark.
problem.
Let's see. But yeah, I actually wanted to like I wanted to go back to multiculturalism for a second, right? Recently, you know, Clubhouse was a social media phenomenon where you know a lot of brothers and sisters was on there, and you know, there were a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of back and forth between you know, those who identify themselves as American descendants of slavery and Black people of the diaspora altogether, you know. And I'm not sure if you were like too privy to that as it was happening, but
I've signed up for Clubhouse because so many people have asked me to, so I finally did it, but I've never been on it yet. I've never used it yet. I've never been in a conversation, never heard a conversation, so I wouldn't know how it works, but I am signed up.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not even on there either at this point, but at some point there was just a lot of back and forth between divisive discussion, you know, in the midst of everything that we're going through, right? Like you say this all the time, we're in a state of emergency, right? So like while we're in a state of emergency, we're arguing in a burning house. And you know, like you definitely came to mind when I was seeing the divisiveness, because being a Pan-African you know, like thought leader of these times, you know, I've always like had curiosity as to what your perspective was on these back and forths, and if you have ever found like a medium where like both parties can understand that like literally we're arguing in a burning house, we're a community regardless of our differences or not. Like if we come together and actually mobilize around like the economic disparities and social, educational, you know, spiritual disparities that we experience, then we would actually get somewhere as a unit, you know, in a codified manner. So I wanted to get your point of view on that.
Here's the thing. We cannot allow the distractions of identity debates to take our focus away from the progressive politics of Black empowerment. In other words, if you say you are ADOS, that's not an agenda for change. That's not a solution. That's not a program. If you say you FBA, that's not an agenda for change. That is not a program. That is not a platform. That is not a solution. It's only an identity. Identities don't solve our problems. If they did, we wouldn't have none. We have every identity under the sun. We got Black folks who identify as Christian only, Muslim only. We got Nation of Islam. We got Hebrew. We got Guys and Earths. We got Nawapian. We got Black nationalism. We got Pan-Africanism. We have a million identities in the American African community. Which one has solved your problem? None. Because identity in and of itself does not provide a solution. So you got all these people fighting over what we should call ourselves or what we should identify. Put that to the side for a minute. So if I'm talking to somebody who come to me and they come with some ADOS, which I don't support at all, agents, distractors, opportunists, and saboteurs. My question for them is, what is your agenda for liberation? You've given me your identity. The fact that I agree or disagree with it is irrelevant. What is your program for Black liberation? Guess what it is? We waiting for the white man to give us reparations. You go over to the FBA. What is your program for Black liberation? We waiting for the white man to give us reparations. In other words, you don't have a program, because any program for liberation does not require participation from your oppressor. Let me say it again. No program for liberation will ever require participation from your oppressor. So the minute a Negro tells you the white man has to do something for me before I can do something for myself, that's not a liberation program. You understand? That is a trap or a hustle. Okay? And when you look at the people who founded these two African-American tribalism cliques, neither one of them have the history of grassroots organizing. Neither side. None of them have been in the streets doing nothing for Black folks. None of them. You understand? And neither side has ever identified as being African or being from our African people. You understand? So when you look at who created these movements, when you look at the fact they have no grassroots history, they're just YouTube opportunists and elitists, then why would you even give that your attention? But our young people, most of whom are politically uneducated, they're going to follow whatever's popular. They don't know. So I don't blame them. But see, I also don't put a lot of attention in the whole ADOS FBA thing because I know it's just a fad. Because I know he ain't serious and he's never done anything for Black folks except make money. And I know they not serious because they've never got in the streets for Black folks. So for me, these movements that pop up every other decade, trying to distract Black people from the red, black, and green, trying to take us away from Pan-Africanism, they always die off of their own volition because they're not serious in the first place. So I don't pay them. Come back 10 years ago, let's see where they be. They won't be nowhere because the leaders are not serious people. They are not people who are dedicated to Black liberation.
Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, I definitely want to just ask you this question, but first I'm gonna give some context to the question, right? So, first things first, I believe that we most definitely can make an economic change in America. I believe that we can unify, right? And I think the way to do that is through group economics. I think Marcus Garvey, he had utilized this when he was alive. Through the UNIA, he had gotten a lot of Black individuals to start pooling their money together, small amounts. He could utilize that to rebuild the Black community. And I think this is some of the things that we can copy and paste into 2021. Because our people right now, brother, believe it or not, which I'm pretty sure you do, but our people right now, we're awake. Our people right now, we are most definitely in a state right now where we want to make change. We have a lot of people. Wait. Before you disagree. Before I only say this.
I'm pushing back on that.
I only say this because
I'm pushing back on that.
I know.
Let's go.
But I only say this because of the people that I'm around, right? The people that I'm around, especially coming from my community, my generation, we're all woke. We see what's going on in America, and we're just waiting for a leader. The thing about it is that our Black leaders currently right now, we look at you as a Black leader. We look at a bunch of other people I'm not going to name right now. It doesn't matter. But the agendas of our Black leaders right now is not necessarily group economics currently, because group economics is a system in where every week money is taken away from your account and we can see the transactions that you're making because you're building supermarkets, you're building barbershops, you're building institutions and schools, you're building different things that we can go to and spend our money so that we can keep our money and our resources within our community. And I think right now, we need your older generation, your generation right now, as you mentor, as you speak, as you teach, to start to take in some of the 21-year-olds, take in some of the 18-year-olds, so that you could put us in a position so that we could get our generation completely earlier than before they become an adult and they stop caring about liberation, before they become an adult and start worrying about paying bills as opposed to them being Black and proud. You understand what I'm saying? So I think group economics is the solution. But my question to you is, how can we, as a unit, get all who disagree on an identity politics to come together around one ideology to economically uplift us in capitalism?
Great point. Couple thoughts. Number one, we cannot assume because people are woke that they are willing to work. Let me say it again. We cannot assume because people are woke that they are willing to do the work.
Sure.
Let me say this, and I can say this. Because I'm more popular than all of them, I'm more successful than all of them, I speak more than all of them, I'm more credentialed than all of them. If you look at all the major personalities in Black consciousness, and my name is at the top for a lot of reasons and for a lot of good reasons. How much grassroots work have they done in the streets? You don't see them in the streets unless they're selling something. You do not see them building. You do not see them organizing. Are you following me? 99% of all leading conscious YouTubers do not do grassroots work. They are YouTube celebrities and nothing more. So to make my point, just because you're woke don't mean you want to work. See, there's a 5-factor analysis I use for evaluating people's political readiness for struggle. Okay? Consciousness, which is what you're talking about, being woke. A lot of us are conscious, but that's just the ground level.
Yeah.
It don't matter how conscious you are if you ain't got no courage to stand up to the power structure. Listen, Henry Louis Gates of Harvard University, who's considered the main Black scholar by mainstream white America, he's woke. He's very woke. He's up there with you guys. But what does he have the courage to stand up to the white power structure? No, because they pay him a handsome ransom. Yeah. He ain't got the courage. Does he have the commitment to lose everything he has for the benefit of his community? Hell no. And I'm not demonizing Henry Louis Gates. We could substitute a lot of names in there. But the point is, being woke means nothing unless you have the courage, the commitment, the creativity. What are you doing? What are you making? And number 4, consistency. You got to be consistent. How many people have you seen one day they fighting for this? Another day they fighting for this. Another day they the flip-flop ran over here. You got to be consistent. It is consciousness, consistency, creativity, courage, and I'm missing one. Consciousness, consistency, creativity, courage, and commitment. Commitment. What are you willing to sacrifice? All these young woke people you talking about, they're not trying to lose that car they driving. They're not trying to lose that job. They're not trying to lose that scholarship. I don't care how woke you are. Where is your commitment for change?
You mind if I?
And you are correct. The economics. Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
The right foot and left foot of liberation is education and economics. The right foot, left foot. If you don't get your education and economics together, you're done. Why education? Because you have to politicize. You have to politicize the aggression of the disenfranchised Black youth. They're angry, they're mad. You got to take that and funnel it for constructive change. In other words, they have to politicize the consciousness. If we don't politicize them, they're useless. Because this is why they can get drafted so easily to fight for the immigrants and fight for the transgenders and fight for the Asians and fight for our young people are fighting for everybody but their community. But themselves, because they know that they need change, but nobody's taking the time to educate them young folks, give them a political agenda. They don't have that. Or they get caught up in the conscious community and they get drafted by one of these intellectual masturbation clubs, okay, disguising themselves as conscious Black organizations, but they're nothing but intellectual masturbation clubs who would sit around all day and debate things that have nothing to do with the future of Black people. We get caught up too often debating issues that have nothing to do with our future. If you notice, 95% of all Black conscious conversation is based on the past, where you've been. 95% of everything we talk about in the conscious world is based on where you've been. You hardly ever see a conversation or a conference dedicated to the future. It's always about the past. A little bit is about the present. It's mostly about the past, and nothing is about the future. Nothing. When have you ever been invited to a conference to talk about the future of? It's always about the history, the culture, the problems, the this, the that. What about the future? And you know why we don't talk about the future? Because in order for you, see, it's convenient to talk about the past. You know why? Why do Black people love talking about the past? Because you can't do nothing about it. You can't do anything about it. It's over. It's over. You can't go back and change nothing. So stay with me, fellas. If I'm a lazy Negro, if I'm a YouTube celebrity, if I'm one of these fake woke teachers out here, fake woke teachers, all I want to talk about is the past because it don't require me to do any work. I don't have to organize. I don't have to fight. I don't have to struggle. I don't have to do nothing. That's why we love talking about the past. That's why we love talking about dead people. That's why we love talking about dead issues.
Yeah, that's this is triggering that. Hold on, brother. But Dr. Umar, you don't understand how triggering that is right there. All right, there's too many memories to count. You know what I'm saying? Like especially like we go to a convenience store, you see an OG like, yo, back in the day, I used to have this block, used to run that one. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, like you can't really disprove it, But like what's
And the minute
like?
you try to redirect that okay, OG, you had the block back in the day. That's over.
Right.
What can we do now
Right.
to take the block back for something progressive?
Yeah.
You don't want that conversation, because the minute you say, what can we do now? You're asking for accountability and responsibility.
Right.
Two things Black folks do not want to discuss with other Black folks: being accountable and being responsible. And whenever you entertain a conversation about the future, you're going to have to get into responsibility and accountability. We don't want that. We don't want that. We want to live in the past, because in the past, I ain't never got to get off my ass.
Okay. Dr. Umar, let's bring it here. Let's bring it to the future. Let's bring it to the future.
Why not?
In 10 years, if Black people get it together, if we economically come together, start pulling our resources together, we build schools just like you're prophesizing to do at this current moment, what will the state of Black America be in 2020? No, actually, in 2030, my brother, my fault. Yeah, 2030.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couple things. Number one,
Let's go.
we need to be absolutely clear that all Black people are not coming along for the freedom journey. The worst mistake we can make is try to bring everybody with us. We have a lot of toxic Negroes in the Black community. They will destroy you before they ever stand up against white oppression. Do you understand? Yeah. So you have to pick and choose who joins the struggle. If you try to make the struggle a utopia, it will fail, because there's too many Black folks who are motivated to destroy anything that's progressive. So that's number one. Understand that everybody not coming. That's number one. And then number two, you have to make sure that everybody there understands what the purpose of the movement is. For example, a lot of times we come together under political ideology, or we may come together under a topic. We may come together under an organization, but we never come together for the purpose. What is the purpose of this meeting? What is the purpose of this organization? Right. What is the purpose of this discussion? I'm not being bothered with nothing Negroes are doing unless I am crystal clear on the purpose. And that purpose better be progressive. And if it got anything to do with the past, if we are about to intellectually masturbate final points in history, count Dr. Umar out. Count me out. I'm only interested in future liberation. I am not interested in the past. The past is only as good, as Garvey and Douglas both said, the past is only as good as we can make use of it as an instructional aid to our future struggle. Other than that, you must leave it. Because you know what we've done? We've turned our history into a religion. And in turning our history into a religion, we have become worse than the Black church. We talk about the Black church always preaching religion and staying stagnated and stuck. That's exactly what the Black conscious community has done with our history. We want to escape through the history. But guess what? King Tut ain't coming. Harriet Tubman ain't coming. Nobody from the past is coming back to save you. You got to do this yourself. Straight up.
Yo, Dr. Umar, like I wanna go into like a sub topic of this as well, because like you know, I'm listening and I'm thinking about like, you know, what are obstacles that are ahead of us currently that we need to get ahead of in order to have proper footing, so that we could build that economic base or build the group economics that we're speaking about. Now there are like there is something I actually wanted to put on your table and see what you think about it, because it's something I came across where Goldman Sachs is investing in the economic development for specifically Black women in the next 10 years. So I actually wanted to put that on your table because
that's a setup for a setback.
Yeah.
That's a setup for a setback, and that is nothing but the financing of a fake liberation campaign so you can control the outcomes. See, we have to understand.
Yeah.
Europeans don't finance anything for Black folks unless they're going to control it. Period. So nothing good is going to come out of that, because you don't get something for nothing. Anything that must be done for us must be done by us. And the minute you make that one of the principles of solidarity for the movement, you're going to lose half of Black folks right there.
Right.
The minute you say that this is an all Black thing that will only be funded by all Black money, you're going to lose half your Black folks right there. Because first of all, religion has already made us believe that if it's not multicultural, it's against God.
Yeah.
If it's not multicultural, it's against God. So you're going to lose half the Black folks right there. And then when you're not taking no money, what do you mean we're not taking no money? Do you know how many people I've had to argue who wanted me to take grants for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy? I still get phone calls. What are you doing? All this COVID money is out here. You have millions of dollars of COVID, and Dr. Umar won't take none of this COVID money. Because if I take that money, there's going to be strings attached to that money.
Yeah.
And they'll end up locking me up or shutting my school down or suing me in court because I didn't stick to the script. The hand that pays is the hand that rules. See, one of the things that slavery did to us, it stole our natural desire to control our own destiny. Every people has a natural desire to control their destiny. That's why when Chinese show up, they automatically start building what? Chinese community. Yeah. When the Arabs show up, they automatically build what? Arab community, Italian community, Irish community, Mexican community. Black people haven't built a single community in America since Dr. King's assassination, which was 53 years ago this past Sunday, April the 4th. So in 53 years, 53. This is the biggest expansion in Black wealth, biggest expansion in Black education, biggest expansion in Black income. We don't have a single Black community in the United States. Nowhere in this country can you go and find a school, hospital, bank, and supermarket. School, hospital, bank, and supermarket in 53 years. Why? Because slavery stole the Black man and woman's natural desire to control your destiny. We are the only people comfortable being led around by somebody else.
Dr. Umar, you spitting right now.
Talk that talk, man.
You spitting.
Yeah,
Moving
man.
forward, though,
Yeah.
I agree with you. But I also feel as though we don't have a Malcolm X. We don't have a Martin Luther King. We don't have a Marcus Garvey.
And I'm glad you don't, because if they was here today, you'd kill them. Malcolm would not be as successful today as he was. King would not be as successful today as he was. I don't even know if the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey would be as successful today as he was. We would kill him, because remember, you got to have the leader, but the people got to be ready. See, the civil rights movement worked because you had the leader, but the people was ready. Garvey worked because you had the leader, but the people was ready. Malcolm and Medgar and Huey, they worked because the people was ready. We not ready for struggle. Do you really think these fake woke people is willing to go through what the civil rights movement generation went through?
King.
Do you really think they ready to go through what the Panthers went through?
King, if I'm being 100 with you, yes. You know why? I'm going to tell you why right now. I was one of those leaders out there during the Black Lives Matter protests. Now, mind you, I'm not a supporter of Black Lives Matter, but I'm telling you right now, my generation, we hungry, we ready. It don't matter if we got to get arrested. It don't matter what we got to sacrifice. We just waiting on the leadership from your generation.
I believe that many of you are, but as a group, most of us are not going to do it, especially if it's all Black. See, that George Floyd protest, that was a circus that was infiltrated by white folks and redirected for their own agenda. That was a circus.
Oh, can you rewind that? Can you remix that?
It was a circus.
Can you bring that back one more time?
Infiltrated
Yes.
by white European liberals and redirected for their own agenda.
On television. On television.
Absolutely.
But in the hood, it was us. In the hood, we was getting tear gas. In the hood, we was getting shot with rubber bullets. In the hood, we was organizing. Because Dr. Umar, I'm telling you, my brother, I promise you, my brother, the population is higher in terms of Black individuals who are willing to make moves, not excuses.
Yeah.
I would say this. For any group of young people that's serious about change, I'm always ready and willing to work with them. You understand? Yes, so if you have a group of serious young people and we need to have a conversation, by all means, I'm ready for that conversation. I'm simply saying, be very careful who you struggle with. because most of our leaders died alone, and nearly everyone was betrayed from within the inner circle, whether they were in Africa or in America. I know you're convinced. I'm not convinced. I'm convinced they're willing to do it if it's multicultural. I'm convinced they're willing to do it if there's some sort of immediate gratification at the end. But the protracted, comprehensive, long-term struggle that is necessary to change us from where we are to where we need to be, I am not convinced that most of our young people or older people are ready for that at all. First of all, one of the main contradictions with the young people that has to be overcome is their addiction to materialism.
This is true.
There's no way in hell you're telling me you're ready for revolution and you got to have on the latest Jordans. There's no way in hell you're ready for revolution and you're paying $500 for your hair. There's no way in hell you're ready for revolution and you're giving the Asians $100 a week for fingernails and eyelashes. There's no way in hell you're telling me you're ready for revolution and half of you got a white girlfriend.
But
There's no way in hell you're telling me, not you. I'm speaking of the population of Black youth in America who claim to be woke. I'm saying that you are not you, but I'm saying the community is not going to tell me they're ready for change en masse. I believe there's a lot of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying nobody.
Okay,
there's a lot of, but I'm not saying there is not a majority of youth that's really ready for the type of struggle we got to overcome, being as materialistic and being as addicted to social network as they are.
King Dr. Umar.
Nah.
But also we gotta talk about
I'm in the schools with them every day. I'm in the schools with them, so I know.
Also, we gotta talk about the young Black queens who got natural hair. We gotta talk about the young Black kings who are not calling women out of their name. They're not degrading the women, but they're uplifting them, calling them queens.
And they are ready.
But there's a higher population.
And we can work with them.
Prophesize. That's what I'm saying. There's a higher population. And I think this is why we need to throw an event, Dr. Umar, so I can prove it to you, right? We need to you told me 2016 that we were going to throw a conference. Now let's throw that conference Northeast.
I'm ready.
Let's throw that conference in the East. And I promise you, my brother,
why haven't we
I'm going to prove you wrong.
Why? No. We're not disagreeing.
Okay.
I don't think we're disagreeing unless you're saying most of them are ready. If you're saying most of them are ready, we're disagreeing.
Yes,
because most of them are not.
I understand it though.
If you tell me you got a critical mass, I'm with you. I believe there's a critical mass of youth. I'm simply saying most of them are not ready. Are there enough of them? I believe there's enough. Are there a lot of them? I believe there's a lot. But if you say out of the population of, let's say, 16 to 23, just to throw that out, and if you tell me, Dr. Umar, I know for a fact that 60% of them are ready to struggle, hell no.
Hell
no.
For the demographic.
But I do believe there's enough of them for us to get started with.
Okay. So for the demographic.
And whenever you're ready for that conference, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, so we're gonna be chopping it up. So for the demographic of those, because I come across a lot of people every single day who are not awakened. They don't have the consciousness as a foundation yet, but you can see that they're like making those strides, like in their personality type. Like you're gonna be that person who could like change like the tomorrow's destiny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Change the fate of tomorrow by awakening yourself to giving information. This was what it was like for me and my brother right here, Bradley, man. It started from a conversation about what the definition of manhood is and building with members of the community, but it attracted like brothers who are thirsty for that information to get a better understanding of what they're experiencing within themselves. So like for those who are not awoke, they're not woke or they're not ready yet, what are some things that they could do right now to get ready?
Well, one of the things I'm about to start doing in Camden, New Jersey, which is right over the bridge here from Philadelphia, I'm going to restart. I'm going to have the Dr. Umar Book Club. Two things we have to start back up is the book club and the study group. Okay, because social network destroyed the Black book club movement. I'm talking political book club. I ain't talking about fictional relationship gossip. No, I'm talking real political study. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, social network distracted us from the grassroots-based study group book movement, if y'all follow what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
And if you study most revolutionary movements, they grew out of the study group. That's where they were studying globally. They grew out of the study groups, because at the study group is where you learn how people think. At the study group, you learn people priorities. At the study group, you know where people come from. So you automatically start formulating a collective consciousness. And then people get to a point where they're getting tired of study. Now they want to make some change.
Right.
So even with you, with the young folks you got, y'all need a study group. I don't care if you only meet once a month, and you should meet at least once a month. It could be once a week, but it could be once a month. You got to start getting them together so you can do what? Study the personalities in it. Study the personalities in it so you can say, okay, I can't use that brother. That brother over there, he too far gone. That sister over there, pretty solid.
Right.
Or you might say to yourself, I thought that brother was solid, but now he done opened up and I see where he really coming from. Nah, he going to be a political liability. I'm going to keep studying with him and see if he come around. See, if you go into struggle with people before you know them, you set yourself up for failure.
Yo.
You don't walk off the street with some new people who you have never investigated and say, we're about to go struggle for Black folks and we might die or go to jail doing this. And you don't even know who they are. You got to study with them and learn the personalities so you know who you can trust.
Right.
It's very important part of the liberation struggle. But I want to say this to y'all. I have an extremely large youth following, right?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I want to get this school done is so we have a space to organize the youth. But going back to my earlier point, I also get a lot of emails from the youth who follow me. And a lot of them are conflicted about certain aspects of my message. They email me and say, Dr. Umar, I love you, but why can't the movement be a Christian movement? Dr. Umar, I love you, but why can't it be an Islamic movement? Dr. Umar, I love you, but why can't good white people be in this? Or why can't the LBGT? The point I'm trying to make to you is everybody seem like they ready, right? But soon when you start introducing principles of solidarity and points of exclusion, watch how quickly your numbers drop. And when you start assigning work, watch how quickly the numbers drop. Let us understand one thing. We have gotten politically lazy as a people. Because no leader in America has given us a movement since King. The Panthers were close, right? After the Panthers, you hadn't had a movement. So Black people only used to struggling for how long? One day. I'm gonna go to the Million Man March, one day. I'm gonna go to the George Floyd rally, 1 week. You understand? But if you notice, when we struggle now, we have to know when it's going to be over. You understand? I'm going for a day. I'm going for a week. I'm going to do, but we got to know when it's over because I'm not willing to risk my comforts in order to liberate Black folks. Most Black folk want freedom, but they don't want to pay for it. And there is nothing more expensive in this world than freedom. It'll cost you your bank account. It might cost you your freedom. It might cost you your mortgage. It might cost you your job. And guess what? The US government knows that most Black folks are not willing to pay the price for freedom.
I'm gonna let that sit. Yeah.
I even see it with the adults, brothers. I see it with the adults. They'll be with me. They'll be with me. They'll be with me. They'll be with me. And then I'll say, Dr. Umar, wait a minute. This movement is going to be all Black? Yeah. You mean nobody else, no Latinos? No. For us, by us. Pure Blackness is too scary for a lot of Black folks. Pure Blackness. You understand? It's too unsettling for a lot of Black folks. See, we don't mind marching in the sea of white folks. If it's multicultural, it's not a threat. If it's multicultural, it's not a threat at all. The George Floyd protests were no threat at all. But once it's all Black, only then does it become a threat. You know, nobody's going to do more for you than you're going to do for yourself.
Dr. Umar, I agree with you. I actually started to look at the education system, right? And I realized that when I was in elementary school, they taught me that Martin Luther King, right? He died for me, but he was standing for me. Malcolm X, he died for me, but he was standing for me. So psychologically, when I was in elementary school, I was indirectly taught not to want to stand for myself because I would die for it.
That's why they love to show you the assassinated images of Black leaders.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. JFK was assassinated, right? Now, you do often see President Kennedy's assassination shot. In other words, you often see the visual of the car passing and then him getting shot, right?
Right.
How often have you seen his corpse on national TV? How often have you seen his corpse on YouTube? You don't. You don't. You can probably find it, but you are not regularly shown President Kennedy's corpse. How often have you seen Abraham Lincoln's corpse?
Never.
Almost never. But you see Malcolm's corpse every Black History Month. You see Dr. King's corpse every Dr. King Day. Are y'all following me?
Yeah, man.
Why is it we don't see the corpses of the white leaders, but we see the corpses of the Black ones? It's for what you said. They want to condition into the unconscious of the masculine revolutionary. This is what will happen if you keep on talking that Black talk. Do you want to end up like Medgar Evers? Do you want to end up like Dr. King? Do you want to end up like Malcolm X? Do you want to end up like little Bobby Hutton? Do you want to end up like Fred Hampton, Mark Clark? Do you want to end up like Patrice Lumumba? Do you want to end up like Amilcar Cabral? Do you want to end up like Didi Kamathi? You see? Do you want to end up like Thomas Sankara? So they're constantly showing you the corpses of dead Black leaders. You hardly ever see the corpses of dead white leaders.
Do you think it's possible that we could ever create a United States of Africa so that we can really combat the powers of colonization and imperialism?
Combat white supremacy, colonization, imperialism, capitalism are children of white supremacy. Don't target the children, target the parent.
Yeah.
That's one of the issues that we have with the socialists, because the socialists are always talking about crushing capitalism, but the socialists don't never talk about white supremacy. And that's because a lot of these Black Pan-African socialists date white girls, and they don't want to lose their privilege of dating white girls.
Yo, chill, Dr. Umar, chill.
Yo, the accuracy of this is crazy, B. Chill.
Are you following me?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Don't run around. Crush capitalism. Crush capitalism. Crush capitalism. Crush imperialism. Crush the U.S. threat. Crush. But soon when you say white supremacy, no. But why we can't say white supremacy?
Yo, you know what? Yo, Dr. Umar,
Because they got the snow bunny crisis. They got the snow bunny crisis.
the
And we better watch that snow bunny crisis, because you see what Deshaun Watson is going through. Quarterback for the... Yo, bro, did you see today?
No.
They had the first woman to accuse him was a snow bunny. The first one. Snow bunny. Right? And today, what was it? The 24th, 22nd or 24th woman accused him of sexual impropriety. And you know what's interesting?
That's crazy.
When you read the incident, it's almost not an incident. He asked me to massage his groin, and I said no. And he bumped into me. Don't get me wrong. You shouldn't be touching a woman with your genitals. But I'm trying to see, where was the clear case?
Were they sitting
of
down,
abuse?
standing up?
First of all, you in a massage parlor.
Oh, okay.
You're in a massage parlor.
Yeah.
In a massage, you are physical and you touch people. That's why people go there. So you know a lot of this is Bill Cosby all over again.
No,
And what
straight
they've
up,
done,
man.
and what they've done, gentlemen, is they have taken, when it comes to Black men, Black men are no longer tried in court. Your fate is no longer determined by a judge and a jury. Your fate is no longer determined by a preponderance of the evidence. Your fate is no longer determined based on evidence that proves beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty. Guess what determines the Black man's fate today?
You see it? You see my phone?
Media incrimination. Media incrimination. So listen, it's no longer about the proof. It's no longer about the evidence.
Yes.
The only thing that matters now, how many women can you get to accuse him? Because if you can get at least 14 of them, if you can get at least 20 women, we don't care if they lying or not. We don't care if they lying or not, but it's all about the sheer number of accusers you have. And it is the sheer number of accusers that determines your fate. Bill Cosby wasn't convicted because he was guilty. Bill Cosby was convicted because he had a lot of people saying the same thing. Deshaun Watson's career ain't being destroyed because he's guilty. Deshaun Watson's career is being destroyed because of the amount of women who are willing to corroborate the same story.
If you want to destroy a black man's image in America today, slap.
All you have to do is accuse them of sexual impropriety and get a lot of people to regurgitate the story.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
sir.
the reason they destroying Deshaun is because he wanted out of Houston. He wanted to go to another team. And you know that redneck owner for the Houston Texans didn't like that. So you know what he did? He picked up the phone and called his buddy, who just so happens to be the lawyer for all the women. Let me say it again. Yes, brother. The lawyer that is representing every single accuser of Deshaun Watson lives on the same block as the owner of the Houston Texans.
That's crazy. But it's not crazy.
It's like, it's crazy, but it's crazy, but it's like hella predictable. It's like, yo, you know, it's crazy. Like being a black man today, literally yesterday, on social media, like going back to what you're saying about how like we're all seeing images of like our strong brothers or strong leaders, you know what I mean, in their corpse. Like I feel like another example of that, literally yesterday, a brother named not yesterday, a few days ago in Boston on Blue Hill Live, a brother named Leo Bowman, you know, a video was released. I know his daughter through college, and you know, there was at least 10 police officers around his vehicle. And he recorded the video like for about like 8 minutes. They were just like putting pressure on him, like asking for his ID and everything like that. You know what I mean? And he's like, okay, I'm gonna go get my license in the compartment, or in the middle, the console. And as he reaches for it, the police officer on the other side is saying, don't reach for it. So it's like putting them in like a catch-22.
So what happened?
So
they didn't shoot him, did they?
Nah, they you know what? One of the officers put his hands on him though and got him on the ground. Okay. They definitely they made him bleed. He was choking on his own blood. And when he was saying, you know, I can't breathe, you know, like I'm choking on my blood, they said then, you know what I mean? They were just kind of like, oh well, you know what I mean? Just let it be what it is. You know what I'm saying? So like when we see that on the regular, and then on the other side of it, you're seeing like brothers who are have influence or some aspect of power that they're exercising through sports or entertainment or whatever, be targeted in this way. It's like, you know, it makes me think about what the youth is seeing when they see that, you know, like and it makes me wonder if in the future they actually would want to identify with what everyone hates so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, the Honorable Marcus Garvey said, we have to sell the Negro to himself. And what that means, gentlemen, is that we have to make it more popular to be a liberation activist than to be a cool brother on the corner, than to be the ladies' man, than to be the black middle class executive. You see, than to be getting money. You have to make fighting for the liberation of our people more popular than any other type of life path. That's the only way you're going to get the youth, which is why most cultural liberation struggles that were revolutionary, China, Vietnam, Cuba, Garvey, they all projected the culture. They made the people love themselves through the art, through the music, through the literature. There was a cultural renaissance that coincides with the liberation. Look at China. China had a cultural renaissance that coincided with Mao Zedong's revolution. Look at Cuba. They had a cultural renaissance that coincided with the Cuban Revolution. You know why? because you had to make the people understand why the liberation of the people was worth their life.
Right.
You had to show them why the people were worth you dying for. The Harlem Renaissance, which was motivated by Marcus Garvey, but he never gets the credit. The Harlem Renaissance was Garvey's creation. It coincided with the Garvey's movement. It made Black people understand why we were valuable. You understand?
Right.
That we were worthy as a subject of study. And once you are able to appreciate yourself, you're naturally willing to die for yourself.
Sir.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I salute you, Dr. Umar Johnson, dog. Dropping gems on this, man. You know what I mean? Let me like go down this path real quick with you, man, because, you know, we are a platform where hip hop and sociology collides. So, you know, I did.
If the hip hop ain't conscious, it's automatically an agent of coonism.
Damn, can you let me come a question now, brother? You already knew what I was gonna ask. You know what I'm saying? But like,
I can't be conscious and coonery at the same time.
Nah, straight up.
You can't serve two masters.
So you can't put the medicine in the poison. Like I hear that analogy, like, you know, like we put medicine in the poison and they'll get that medicine, but maybe the poison.
I understand the strategy of mixing the medicine with the poison.
Yeah.
My problem is, how much time are you going to give the medicine to work if you're constantly diluting its strength? Will it ever work? And the problem I got with the brothers who mix the gangsterism with the Garveyism is that you're diluting the Garveyism with the gangsterism. And so you end up defeating the purpose of having the Garveyism in the first place, because you keep on diluting the strength of the message, that it never ends up serving this agenda, which is to wake up the youth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So then at one point, you have to ask yourself, was the consciousness in the music co-opted by the coonery?
Garvey was gangster though. Garvey was gangster. I heard an interview where he was like, listen, if the KKK want smoke, we could get that.
And the Garveyites went to war with them.
That's 100%.
The African Guards of Garvey went to war with them, went to war with the police. This before the Black Panthers. Before the Black Panthers, Garvey's military was taking on armed enforcement, brother, all throughout the South. Remember, the most thoroughly organized Garvey stronghold was Louisiana. Deep South. And so they regularly had encounters with the Klan and with a law enforcement. One of the reasons Garvey met with the Grand Wizard, people say, why did Garvey meet with the Grand Wizard of the KKK? You know why? Because Garvey, as the president of a nation, and the Grand Wizard as the president of a nation that were at war with each other, we're going to meet to do what? Affect a ceasefire. We're not friends, but your people killing my people and my people killing your people. So can we reach some sort of an agreement so we can stop this? That was the ceasefire. That was the ceasefire. You understand? And the ceasefire was done so the Klan understood that we not having that no more. If y'all come for us, we coming for y'all. So Garvey met with them to back them off unless they wanted that smoke.
Damn, G. Yeah, man. Yo, I'm full off of this conversation, man. I'm full off of this bill, brother. Dr. Umar Johnson, man. You know, the question I wanted to ask too, man, because you did predict my question before I asked it. However, there was another question I wanted to ask, right? Because I'm a big hip hop head, but I'm really big on the message within hip hop and how it's going to impact the youth, because that's what it's marketed to predominantly, like, you know, ages like 9, 13, around that age. Like, who do you listen to? You know, I heard Notorious as a ringtone, brother.
Well, I'm
you know
the Notorious RBG, so naturally I got to listen to the Notorious B.I.G. But Tupac is my favorite rapper.
There you go.
I listen to a lot of old school, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim. You know, I don't mess too much with the mumble rap. You know, I listen to a little bit of Meek Mill. You know, he's from North Philly, just a little bit.
Right, you know, hometown.
You know,
right?
But I'm more old school than new school.
I'm an old soul, so you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
I listen for that.
I couldn't name a song. I couldn't sing a song. You know, I know the rappers' names because they're always in the media, but I don't know their music like that. I'm not really into the new stuff.
Listen to Joey Badass.
I heard of that name.
Word.
Joey
you
Badass.
Will not regret it, my
Yeah,
brother. You should build with him.
Wait, you
Where he
don't know?
based that? Where he based that?
Oh, you from Flatbush?
Yeah, New York.
Flatbush, Brooklyn.
Okay, he a young boy.
Yo, Pro Ever. You know, like Capital Steve's Pro Ever. You never heard of Pro Ever? You was there, brother.
It was Dr. Umar Johnson and Pro Ever that aided my awakening. Facts.
Pro Era is also an artist.
Pro Ever is like it's a group, it's a movement, right?
And
it's like,
and all of them are in it. All of them are in it.
But you know, of course, like
not New Era, not New Era.
Nah, Pro Ever.
Pro Era.
Yeah. So they
but it's ERA, Pro ERA,
Pro ERA. And now there were main people in that group that I would say I gravitated towards, like Capital Steve's. You know, he passed away from suicide, you know what I mean? And
so they
that's
say.
something that so they say, right? So and it's crazy, man. Like it really was in alignment. It was in alignment with when you really started to like hit us around here, like Pro Ever was hitting me around the same time. And their message was to wake people up and have, wake up your third eye, and you know what I mean? Like really tap into your essence and your uniqueness of who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Listen to Joey Badass, Land of the Free. It's in alignment. You guys are in alignment. I promise you. Build with that.
Let me check him out.
He's not signed, but he has a platform as if he is, and he keeps his message unique to the people. I promise you that.
Okay, I'm gonna check him out.
No doubt. Hey, man. One last question I'm gonna ask you, man, and
sure.
we won't hold too much of your time, brother.
It's
I know you have a lot on your plate, man. But like, how would you want to be remembered, man? How would you want to be remembered?
As someone who did the best he could with what he had.
Word.
Someone who did the best he could with what he had.
Word.
Yeah.
Word, straight like that, man. I mean, man, I commend you, bro. Like you do embody like commitment, consistency. Hitting all these interviews, all these platforms could be tiring, dog. You know what I mean?
But you know what? As much as I love the lecture and I love to get on the mic, the interviews reach far more people, though. You see? So with a lecture, you can penetrate the people who are there much more deeply because you're in their face. Yeah. So the lecture is quality because you can penetrate the people much more deeper. But the interview is quantity. You can reach more people. You understand? So you need them both.
Right.
You need them both. You understand? Because this interview will be watched forever. You understand? It'll never be lost. You see, so I understand the importance of media. And speaking of media, one of the things we're going to do with FDMG is we're going to have a young Black media conference because we don't have a media system of our own. How did you learn about George Floyd? Because white media told you. How did you know about Breonna Taylor? How did you know about Hurricane Katrina? Because the white media told you.
Right.
So if they don't tell us what's happening with our own people, we won't know. So I want to get all the young people in who do websites and print media and everything. And we need to create a global, because I'm Pan-African, so it's for all of us. We need to create a global system of information dissemination. We are sitting ducks because we are the only race in the world without a global system of information dissemination. If something pop off in Boston, if the white media don't tell me, how will I know y'all in trouble? Man. I have no way of knowing. Yeah. We are dependent on them, even for our information, brother.
Right.
Marcus Garvey said, the Honorable Marcus Garvey said, if the Black man and woman are not careful, you will drink in all the poison of Western civilization and die from the effects of it. You will drink in all the poison of Western civilization and you will die from the effects of it.
That's deep, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Yo, brother, man. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just taking it all in right now. You feel me? I'm still eating. Still eating.
No problem.
Eating.
All the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Remember your influence.
Yo, and it's impacting more than you would ever imagine. I think
no problem. And whenever y'all want to do that youth conference up there, you just let me know.
How will I get in
All right.
touch with you, brother?
I'm gonna give you my cell right now, and
Bum,
this
bum.
is for everybody because my cell is public. So anybody watching the interview, if they need the flyer for the Friday night book signing 2 to 8 or the Saturday boot camp 8 to 8, they could text me 215-989-9858. Again, 215-989-9858. And one thing you brothers could do for me when you post this,
Yes.
if maybe you can add a little caption and let the people know about the Friday night book signing from 8 to 8.
Oh yeah, I already
because it's a free, it's a
Yup.
free meet and greet. You know, it's free,
Yup.
it's no cost. So
No
if they want to
problem.
just drop by, say what's up, you know what I mean? Dr.
I'ma pull
Umar,
up.
I support you. I got a
Yo,
question.
we gonna pull up on you, man. We're gonna pull up on you.
Oh,
yo.
for sure, for sure.
No
But
doubt,
drop
no
that
doubt.
on there because we didn't hit too much media. So I know because we didn't hit too much media,
Yeah.
there's a lot of Black folks in Boston who don't know I'm coming. You feel me?
Yeah.
They don't even
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
So I need y'all to drop a little caption
Yup.
and just let them know Friday night free meet and greet Dr. Umar 2 to 8.
Yup.
And
Oh,
when they
brother.
get there, I'll let them know about Saturday.
It's already posted on IG on our pages as
Okay,
well.
okay.
But yeah, absolutely, man. We're gonna post this ASAP. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Before you touch down, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Word, man. Any questions you have for us, man? Like,
no, but I'm gonna hold my brother to the youth conference because you waited 6 years.
you waited?
5
Yeah.
years. It better not be enough. I'm serious. Find a location.
Yes, sir.
I would say at least 100 socially distanced. If you can find a spot that can see 100 socially distanced,
I think
y'all gonna take care of all that. You just gonna tell me date and place.
Yeah.
And give me the youth. Give them to me for a whole day. We're gonna go 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever. Feed them, whatever, and just let me politicize. It's a re-Africanization camp.
Let's go.
You feel me? We gonna,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Let's
just
go.
let me know. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that.
I bet. Nice to re-meet you, my brother.
Right.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I remember the voice now. I remember the voice. And I think I was in Chicago when we did the interview. It was a phone interview, right? It wasn't video.
Shout out to
I think
Stephanie
I was
Million.
in
She made that
Chicago.
happen. Yeah.
I think I was in Chicago. Yeah.
Word.
On my way to Boston. Yeah.
Man, bless your memory, man. You got a lot to remember up there, man.
Oh, man. Oh,
Hey,
man.
I wanna
All I
tell
know is, let me also tell your supporters,
Yeah.
make sure they donate to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And don't let the skull fool you, brothers. In African culture, the skull is the ancestor. So this represents life. This is the ancestors. But make sure they donate to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy on the Cash App, $FDMG School.
Yep.
$FDMG School on the Cash App. And on the PayPal, it's paypal.me/FDMG Academy.
Mhm.
Okay. And if they want to mail in the donation, they can either text me at the 215-989-9858, or they can mail the check or money order to P.O. Box 9634 Wilmington. P.O. Box 9634 Wilmington, Delaware 19809. Or they can bring the donation to the book signing Friday in Boston from 2 to 8. Check or money order. We don't like to do cash because we want to be accountable. Check or money order. FDMG Academy. They can bring it with them Friday to the book signing or Saturday to the boot camp. For the boot camp, again, we only got about 15 spots left. So I'm hoping parents who really need that training will register because we only do one per state. So once we do mass, it ain't no part 2. They got to get it. I'll be back for the youth conference y'all going to set up, but I won't be back for the boot camp ever again because it takes so much out of me. I'm on my feet for 12 hours. I got to go through the paperwork.
Yeah, 8 to 8, right?
It's a very, when I'm done, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, man.
You know, so that's why I don't do them that often. This is the first one I've done since March of 2020 when I did the California training in Long Beach. And then COVID hit.
Oh, man.
The very next day. So we had to I had to cancel all my other boot camps around the country. So this is the first one. Boston is the first one in the year.
Coming back.
Yeah.
Man. Hey, man, we're blessed to receive that, man, for real.
No problem.
A resource that, for the listeners out there, definitely tap into Dr. Umar Johnson and what he's bringing to the community. Like he's really fighting for us. You know what I'm saying? He really is.
Yo, put some respect on his name, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I see you in GIFs all day. You know what I mean? like on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? They'll post something like a black man with a white with the snow bunny syndrome, and then they'll show you a picture like, you know what I mean? Like
I saw it. I'm gonna tell y'all this.
It's good marketing.
I don't mind the gifs because that's how a lot of young people came to know who I am.
Facts.
Like, who is this guy?
Good marketing. Yeah.
But here's the one thing I wish they would stop doing though, and that is creating profiles with my name. So for example, misleading people, making them think they me. So when I went to Clubhouse, somebody was already using my name. Instagram, there's a million fake profiles in me. Facebook, there's a lot of fake so you got people sending them messages thinking they talking to Dr. Umar and they not. Twitter, a lot of fake profiles. So for people who want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Dr. Umar Johnson.
Right.
DRUMAR Johnson. One word, no period. At Dr. Umar Johnson. On Instagram, the page has 703,000 followers. My Twitter has 150,000 followers. My Facebook, I use Ifatunde, Dr. Umar Ifatunde, which is the last name. And Dr. Umar Ifatunde is the name for Facebook. And that's about 400,000 subscribers. So you want to make sure you're on the right page.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought I followed you and there was like no context, Dr. Umar. It's feeling just all day. Hey, man. No,
all day long, bro. All day long. I just, my thing is to be so popular, to be so famous and infamous, we should have already had the school done. Like, honestly, as I sit here with y'all, if you say, Doc, what's the one thing that's weighing on your soul? It's the fact that we had them buildings for 2 years and they not done. And here's the thing, they don't even need a lot. That's the crazy thing. They in good shape. All we got to do is repair the electric, repair the plumbing. If I was Mexican, them schools would have been done. If I was a Latino brother trying to open up a school for Latino boys, they'd be done. If I was an Arab trying to open up a school for any other people, if that person had my credentials and my experience and my following, them schools would have been done 6 months after we bought it. Are y'all following me?
Yeah.
But because I'm dealing with the Negroes, we sitting there. It's going to get done. I know it. I just don't want it to take forever.
No doubt.
And right now, we counting down to September 1st. Because between now and September 1st is 5 months. And I'm hoping that in these 5 months, we can get the repairs necessary. Because before it gets too cold, I want to have a grand opening celebration and conference at the school. So, September is your last month of good weather. So early September, I want to block the street off, food, music, vendors, performances outside. And then inside every classroom, a different scholar dropping information, health, diet, history, culture, Pan-Africanism, starting your own business, real estate, investments. We want to do a conference and festival to grand open the school. That's what. So hopefully, God willing, telling everybody keep in their prayers. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we'll be there.
No doubt, man. Hey, on that note, brother, thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
And we're gonna pull up on y'all. Pull up on you on Friday, right? For the
yes, sir. Looking forward to it. 2 to 8 Friday. Come through, meet and greet with the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Get the new book, Black Parent Advocate: The Art of War for Dealing with America's Public and Charter Schools. Questions, pictures, books. If you love me, come tell me. If you hate me, come tell me. I'm open to everybody. Let's make it pop. Beantown, I'm back. And also, we want to let Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Connecticut, and all the brothers and sisters in New England know that this is their opportunity to come and interact with Dr. Umar. I was supposed to do a book signing in Rhode Island that I had to postpone so the Rhode Island family could come on down to Boston.
Wow, word, man. Hey, New England's gonna pull up for you, man. And before we go, man, I saw that picture with Kyrie Irving. I don't know if that was a shot at Boston or not, but Brooklyn and 4. That's what you're saying?
Brooklyn, I'm a Kyrie and KD fan. So wherever they go, I go. You feel me? So if they got traded tomorrow, wherever they go, I go. So I'm Kyrie and KD. You know what I'm saying? I am rooting for Brooklyn first, but I'm also hometown Philly, right? But it just so happens my love for Kyrie and KD is greater than the Sixers, even though Sixers is my home.
Yeah.
So the point being, I'm hoping it's the Nets and the Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Because at that point, it don't matter who wins. You feel me? Whether it's Brooklyn or the hometown, I'm good with either one of them. You know what I mean? That's so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm betting against that. So, you know what I mean? It kind of hurt my soul when I saw that. So just want to let you know.
I think Boston probably need a new coach, though. Even though Brad Stevens is a good coach, they falling apart for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. All that talent they got,
they don't have
I
that.
don't understand it.
They don't
you know
have
what I'm saying? I don't understand it. And they better do something because I don't know how many years Jason Tatum got on his contract, but he probably going to be up out of there once he free, you know what I mean? Once he gets freed up.
I don't believe any player when they say that my loyalty is with this city of Boston. And
nah.
They already went.
They're not loyal to you, so you don't need to be loyal to them.
Straight up, it's about the bag, man. Get the bag, and you know, your livelihood, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Dr. Umar.
All right, fellas.
Peace, brother.
One love. See y'all soon.
Y'all
right now.
Yes, sir.
One love. All right.
Word. Yeah, man.
Yo.
So there you have it. You know what I mean? I look forward to what everyone has to say. You know what I mean? Dr. Umar Johnson has always been a powerful brother, man. He's always been present in the mainstream media, disputing and going to bat with philosophies that need to be reintroduced or brought to the table to challenge our mindsets and that we choose to naturalize and normalize and all that. You know what I mean? We need that shake up. You know what I mean? 2016 was that shake up for us. You know, Black people are the most psychologically devastated generation. Yeah, man, I don't know about that. Yo, Valley was like, nah, man, nah. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Yeah, we're gonna wrap this episode up, but you know what I'm saying? Definitely subscribe, like, comment, follow the movement. We got a lot going on behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? So follow us individually as well. You know, Whyse Soul, WHYSESOUL. You know what I mean?
They'll follow me, Bradley Souffrant, BRADLEY SOUFFRANT. That's Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to get me on Twitter, it's just Souffrant __ You'll see me, dog.
You know what I mean?
Also subscribe to our YouTube channel here.
Yes.
Hit that subscribe button and hit the like button.
Hit that.
Share this video. Let's get it live. You feel me?
I mean, and salute to the rest of the Six Element Squad. You know what I'm saying? A-Game, Poetic Silence. You know what I'm saying? Tiff. Shout out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? We repping. All right. So on that note, this is the Sixth Element where hip hop and sociology collides.
Bah!